Good afternoon. Lesson plan 8 topic is modal verbs. This lesson plan was designed for senior high school. The class length is 45 minutes and the proficiency level is A2. The lesson plan objectives are listening. The students will be able to gain understanding on modal verbs to use them in informal and informal situations. For speaking, students will be able to express ability, possibility, command, or obligation in a correct way. For reading, students will be able to recognize connotation on possibility, command, or obligation. And for writing, students will be able to construct their own sentences using the commands. The methodology and strategies that I use for these lesson plans are communicative language teaching, direct method, and audiolingual method, and thought of physical response. The strategies are whole class work, where they will be able to watch a short video. They will have a conversation, pair work, where they will be using a worksheet and acting out activities. The anticipatory set, the teacher will start out with questions and answers in a discussion about following hypothetical situations. For example, teacher will say, when a guest come to your home, do you ask them to remove their shoes? Then ask students to give answers on how they will ask them to do it. Can you please take off your shoes? Okay, the main teaching input, the warm-up activity. Teacher will act out things that I can do, and students will give sentences according to what the teacher does. For example, I will something that I can do. For example, I can sing a song, so they will have to say the teacher can sing a song. And okay, I will explain the modal verbs of ability, obligation, command, and possibility. Students will give their own examples too. After this, I will give to my students a worksheet to work on modal verbs in positive and negative. I will be walking around and checking on students' understanding and assisting some students if they need help. Okay, later, after this, students will work in groups and they will be writing a dialogue using modal verbs. Later, they will present this dialogue to the class. And after that, students will act out some modal verbs. Okay, the guided practice, students will work in pairs and they will have to develop an activity in pairs where they will develop communication on model pairs. After this, the students will watch a video on how to use model pairs. For independent practice, students are going to write their own examples. They would have to write 10 sentences using model pairs in real context. Okay, for assessment, students will have to complete a worksheet to do at home, and they will have to bring it for the next day. After this, the closing and review, the class will be concluded by reviewing the topic, answering some questions, and clearing some doubts if they have some. And okay, so when I started this class, I tried to introduce only a few words at a time and complete several practice activities before attempting to introduce additional vocabulary, because I'm trying to make them grasp the the first group of model verbs first and introduce the next group later. I might need several days to teach all the models to students. So I designed two different worksheets for supplementary material. So the first worksheet, they will be using the models must, may, might, could, and can't. They will have to choose the correct modal verb for each sentence. They will have 5 different sentences, and they will have to choose A, B, or C. The next worksheet that I have for them, they will have to complete sentences with the correct modal verb. In this case, they'll be using can, can't, must, mustn't, have to, and don't have to. So they will have to complete the gaps in the sentences. And as I said before, I try to do it this way, separating or splitting them in 2 groups so they will be able to understand better and not getting confused working on all of them at the same time. That will be all for my class. Thank you for your attention.